Hey, One Piece fans, this is Chris Bolts, and I am coming in with a episode recap and review of this week's episode 1139. The Buster Call has been invoked, and what we're currently looking at right now is the brand new the brand new music that is going to be the opening theme for this portion of One Piece. I think I'm probably going to go ahead and do a separate video on this because this opening theme actually has a lot of Easter eggs, some future telling of events, some recap of past events, and I actually really like that about a lot of the Japanese opening themes to a lot of these anime, because a lot of the times you can get an idea of what the story is going to be about and what's going to be going on in the entire world of the anime in question. And right here, like I said, we're getting a really good recap of One Piece, as well as some forecasting, if you will. But before I do get into the video, do make sure you like, share, subscribe, turn on those post notifications. All that good stuff really does help me out. And let's go ahead and put that on the title screen reference here. Again, the title of this episode is Destroy Egghead. The Buster Call is invoked. We had a recap earlier of just the last lines that Saturn had said prior to invoking the Buster Call. Those who have awakened an ancient god, those who carry the blood of a lost race, and those who study the secrets of the world. So he does not want any of that, and he was just sick and tired of all of it, and he just said, hey, you know what? I want to destroy it. I want it out of here. Go ahead and get the Buster Call. And you see right here, the Navy, they're all just dogs. They're followers of the world government, and the Celestial Dragons, they cannot disobey the order. We will just follow the order and start invoking that Buster Call. And of course, the last time they actually did invoke a Buster Call, as far as I'm aware, is when they actually destroyed Ohata. That is the home birthplace of one Nico Robin. And Saint Saturn does mention that in this particular instance right here about why Ohata was destroyed and Egghead Island is going to suffer the same fate. One of the vice admirals was advising Kizaru and Saint Saturn to leave the island, and Saint Saturn said, nope, we are going to stay here and we are going to watch this through our own eyes. And he's actually forcing Dr. Vegapunk to also watch it as well. And Dr. Vegapunk is protesting, please revoke the Buster Call, because if you don't revoke the Buster Call, 100 years of humanity will be lost, will be set back 100 years. And that completely irks Saint Saturn. Saint Saturn has no interest in the future of humanity. He does not care about progress. He wants everything kept in a rigid, conformed order where the Celestial Dragons are above all and everyone bends to their will. No freedom for mankind whatsoever. But we see right here, Vegapunk pleads. He even prostrates himself, not as low. He gives a really deep bow. And if you understand the culture of Japan, bowing carries a certain importance. Depending upon how deep your bow is, shows how much reverence, respect, and prostration that you show towards the recipient of the bow. And again, right here, we see that it's not as close to 90 degrees, but it's at 45, and he is showing an amount of respect towards Saint Saturn. He wants to save Egghead Island, and we all understand why Dr. Vegapunk would want to save Egghead Island, because this is his year. This is years of work that he has put into this. How many of us would be so upset and so mad that if we have put up so much work that it gets destroyed in seconds? And that's what's getting ready to happen here. I'm sorry, my face is covering Saint Saturn. In fact, let me go ahead and move that over here to the other corner so you guys can see Saint Saturn just peering down on this prostrating, bowing Dr. Vegapunk. And we know how haughty of a person he is. He's not gonna relent whatsoever. Here's Dr. Vegapunk saying, how could you do that? And this was actually after Saint Saturn had told him that, hey, anybody that escaped from the island, we're going to go ahead and also sent the ship out to hunt them down, and destroyed it. And he wants none of these people to survive to be able to go out and tell any of the secrets to the world about what it is that they were researching. So he is trying to control all of this, keep all of this under control, stop all this information from escaping Egghead Island. And meanwhile, and all the Straw Hats are starting to meet back at the rear entrance of the Labo phase. We see Sanji right there saying that he's going to go out and try to rescue Vegapunk and get them back to where they are. This is where Sanji advises that Nami that Buster Call has been invoked. Nico Robin is still hurt. Everybody, all the Straw Hats are wondering how they're going to get off the island. And then Brooke is with Lilith right now. Brooke comes up with a silly plan to try to get the Sunny off of the over there to them, because their original plan of trying to escape with Vega Force 1 was no longer viable, because we all know that Kizaru destroyed that robot, preventing them from being able to escape. So Brooke, being the smart genius that he is, says, hey, why don't I just freeze the cloud and we'll just go ahead and skate on that. You know, Brooke didn't come up with an idea on how to stop it. And that pisses Lilith off and said, you didn't think that far ahead? Right now, and the Buster Call is underway. Things are just being destroyed. Everything is getting all put out of there. We see Luffy right there. He's had his fill of food. He's back to his normal self. We're getting ready to see a bit of irony, right? What's getting ready to happen is, as Saint Saturn, Vegapunk, and Kizaru peer up into the sky, they see this pod that is escaping. And that pod is carrying Bonnie, it's carrying Kuma, Frankie, and I forget the big one, the big Vegapunk name. Atlas is her name. So you see Dr. Vegapunk just sitting there, just looking at all this destruction right here. And now we see Kizaru, he catches up to that escaping pod, and he gets ready to slice it open using his Ama no Murakumo sword, cuts it in half, and we're getting ready to see the vicious hatred in the eyes of Saturn as he sees Kuma. You see that look that he has right there. And obviously he's going to be pissed off, because in the last episode, Kuma knocked the shit out of him. But we know this is a hatred that he has had for the Buccaneers in his heart for years. No telling how long he's had that hatred. Be kind of interesting how we get the story of how he got this scar across his eye. I wonder if that was from fighting some Buccaneers. Who knows? But he's invoking the pacifistas, which obviously look like Kuma, to go ahead and shoot at Bonnie and Kuma to deliver a delicious irony, at least in the view of Saint Saturn, of Bonnie's father getting ready to kill his own daughter. And that's when the actual Kuma reaches out, grabs Bonnie, and holds her, and you see those tears coming out, because I like this actually, because Kuma can't cry, but as he's falling down, we see that Bonnie's tears are lining up with his eyes, and they're serving as a metaphor for Kuma crying, because all he wanted to do during all this time was just be left alone to live his life with his family and his friends. But because what he was born as and what he had to go through to get to this point, and having to protect his daughter from having to witness all these things is such a cruel fate for Kuma and for Bonnie. We see that look on Saturn. It's just exquisite that Bonnie is getting ready to die at the hands of the clones that are modeled after her father, Kuma. And you see this nice little flashback, recap this. The daughter he had sacrificed himself to save is now being slain by his own clone. What utter foolishness. Now, as all of this is going on, I'm sitting there, man, this can't go on. We know that Luffy just got fed. We know he's not going to allow this to happen. We're not going to allow this to just go on like this. And see the Kuma and Bonnie fall into the earth, Atlas fall into the earth, Frankie fall into the earth. All this just mayhem and destruction just going down. As the episode ends, we see these Navy ships just destroyed, just getting ready to sink into the ocean. I'm sitting there thinking, yes, that means that Luffy has actually gone ahead and stopped this. It stopped it. So he's waking up. He's activated his Gear 5. Actually, no. When the episode ends, it instead says something completely different. They have arrived and tell him they are heading for Egghead. Now, who the heck is heading to Egghead? I don't know. Those ships were not destroyed by Luffy. They were destroyed by someone else that's equally powerful as Luffy. So it's kind of interesting whoever it was that actually destroyed those ships. And so that basically the end of the episode. And here's the preview. You see those pacifistas still getting ready to line up. The drums of liberation echo throughout Egghead again. And that, of course, you see that bouncing ground. That means Luffy has activated his Gear 5. And I don't know if you guys caught that. There was a giant from Elbaf Island. And it's kind of cool that it features a giant from Elbaf Island, because if you guys saw my prior videos for Netflix One Piece, they had featured prominently one of the giants from Elbaf Island. I believe his name was Broggy. That looked like that was Broggy right there in the preview. An admired hero, the warrior of liberation who saves Bonnie. We see Monkey D. Luffy right there activating his Gear 5, his traditional laugh that comes along with Gear 5, all the weirdness that starts happening and everything. Luffy is getting ready to gear up to save the day for Bonnie, for Kuma, for his Straw Hat crew, and for Dr. Vegapunk and the other remaining Vegapunks. Now that to me was a really great episode. I really loved it. I really loved every minute of it. It had a lot of tension. You felt the impact of the Buster Call. You felt the emotions of Dr. Vegapunk and everyone involved, the fear and the anxiety and the dread of seeing this. You also felt the hatred and the determination and madness of Saint Saturn. And you also saw a scene right there where Kizaru kind of choked up. He held it in because he knows if he started crying on behalf of what he was seeing before his eyes, Saint Saturn would have probably just killed him right there as well. So overall, this episode, 9 out of 10. You don't need a lot of action or anything like that, but this one certainly had a lot of emotions and feelings wrapped up in it. So absolutely 9 out of 10 for this episode. What did you guys think of this? Did you guys like this episode? Whatever your thoughts, jump down in the comments and let me know. And make sure you do like, share, subscribe, turn on those post notifications. All that stuff really does help me out. And remember, this is Chris Bolt signing off, and I will catch you guys in the next video. You take it easy.